Ms. Carlson, go listen to her, do what she says.
Put this face down on your desk. And I want you to look at that prompt, and for about 60 seconds, I want you to ask yourself whether or not you agree with this statement. America is not the greatest nation, but it can be. Just write down your thoughts.
Write them down.
Write them down. Think about it. Keep this right. You don't have to use complete sentences.
Will you just write it anywhere?
On the back.
Okay.
About 30 seconds. Okay, go ahead and flip your papers over. This is your exit ticket. You're not leaving the room today until all the questions on here are answered, and you'll be able to answer all those questions by just paying attention to what's going on up here. So, I'm going to show you guys a clip of HBO's, the opening scene of HBO's The Newsroom. Have you guys ever seen that? It's probably the most brilliant piece of television that's been written, I don't know, maybe ever. It does drop the F-bomb twice, but I expect that you guys are mature enough to realize that, you know, we don't use that kind of language in an academic setting for the most part, but I think it drops the F-bomb peacefully in this case. So what's happening in this clip...
So next time I cut some school, I can say, well, I was using peacefully.
You could try. What's happening in this clip is that there's 3 news anchors, and they're in kind of a debate. They're having a question and answer period in front of a group of college students. One of them is very liberal, you'll see. One of them is very conservative, and then there's the other guy, and he's notorious for being in the middle. Like, he just is moderate as moderate can be. They are talking about how news has changed in the past, and they mentioned something called the NEA, and that's kind of like the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act that got struck down in Congress a couple of months ago. Is sort of what it is in this like fictional thing. So take a look at your exit ticket and sort of look and see what kind of questions you're going to need to ask or answer from this video. I think there's one of them that can be answered directly from this video. So. You're fine.
Okay.
Speakers on.
Hi, my name is Jenny. I'm a sophomore, and this is for all 3 of you. Can you say in 1 sentence or less what, you know what I mean? Can you say why America is the greatest country in the world?
Diversity and opportunity.
Lewis, freedom and freedom. So let's keep it that way.
Well, the New York Jets.
No, I'm going to hold you to an answer on that. What makes America the greatest country in the world?
Well, Lewis and Sharon said it, diversity and opportunity and freedom and freedom.
I'm not letting you go back to the airport without answering the question.
Well, our Constitution is a masterpiece. James Madison was a genius. The Declaration of Independence is, for me, the single greatest piece of American writing. You don't look satisfied.
One's a set of laws and the other's a declaration of war. I want a human moment from you. What about the people? Why is
It's not the greatest country in the world, Professor, that's my answer.
You're saying
Yes.
Let's talk about
Fine. But Sharon, the NEA is a loser. Yeah, it accounts for a penny out of her paycheck, but he gets to hit you with it anytime he wants. It doesn't cost money. It costs votes. It costs airtime, column inches. You know why people don't like liberals? Because they lose. If liberals are so fucking smart, how come they lose so goddamn always? Hey, and with a straight face, you're gonna tell students that America is so star-spangled awesome that we're the only ones in the world who have freedom? Canada has freedom. Japan has freedom. The UK, France, Italy, Germany, Spain, Australia, Belgium has freedom. So 207 sovereign states in the world, like 180 of them have freedom.
All right.
And yet you, sorority girl, just in case you accidentally wander into a voting booth one day, there's some things you should know. One of them is, there's absolutely no evidence to support the statement that we're the greatest country in the world. We're 7th in literacy, 27th in math, 22nd in science, 49th in life expectancy, 178th in infant mortality, 3rd in median household income, number 4 in labor force, and number 4 in exports. We lead the world in only 3 categories: number of incarcerated citizens per capita, number of adults who believe angels are real, and defense spending, where we spend more than the next 26 countries combined, 25 of whom are allies. Now, none of this is the fault of a 20-year-old college student, but you nonetheless are, without a doubt, a member of the worst generation ever. So when you ask what makes us the greatest country in the world, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yosemite? Sure used to be. We stood up for what was right. We fought for moral reasons. We passed laws, struck down laws for moral reasons. We waged wars on poverty, not poor people. We sacrificed. We cared about our neighbors. We put our money where our mouths were, and we never beat our chest. We built great big things, made ungodly technological advances, explored the universe, cured diseases, and we cultivated the world's greatest artists and the world's greatest economy. We reached for the stars, acted like men. We aspired to intelligence. We didn't belittle it. It didn't make us feel inferior. We didn't identify ourselves by who we voted for in the last election, and we didn't scare so easy. We were able to be all these things and do all these things because we were informed by great men, men who were revered. First step in solving any problem is recognizing there is one. America is not the greatest country in the world anymore. I'm not.
Told you. And I think that the language was, I mean, that one power punch statement before he starts into his softening, I think that it is very much that we're stop to think.
So, would you guys characterize him as a patriot? He's patriotic? No. No? Yes?
He believes in America, he believes that we can better ourselves, but he likes how we did it back then on the laws and times. They did fit the way we live, they got rid of them, and everyone said that.
Okay, so did you guys catch the 3 things the United States leads the world in?
I was actually kind of intuition.
What'd you get?
Incarcerated citizens and the number of adults that believe in angels.
And the 3rd one, anyone catch the 3rd one? Defense spending, where we spend more than the next 26 people, 26 countries combined, 25 of whom are our allies. That's an interesting point to think about. Yeah, so would you characterize him as a conservative or a liberal?
Well, he was kind of dissing the liberals.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess
I think he's conservative. but he's so like not patriotic.
Yeah. He's one of those people that
What were the other two?
Not that I'm saying he's not patriotic. Actually, I think he's very patriotic.
I-
Everybody said about the
No, he is very.
the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. What was that?
What were the other two areas?
Incarcerated citizens would also play a role in the defense, I think.
And that's incarcerated citizens per capita. So you guys know what per capita means?
The people believing, adults believing in anything.
Incarcerated citizens of what?
Defense
Adults
spending.
believing in anything.
So what's the big point that he's trying to get across here? What's his main point?
We're slipping away.
Are you still incarcerated? Sorry,
Or people in jail?
I don't know how to spell it.
Incarcerated? Yeah. Just say people in jail.
Criminals.
So he says that we're slipping away. Is there any other message he's trying to get across?
We have the potential to be the best, but we're not.
Definitely. Yeah.
We're changing to how much like our country used to be. We're trying to make a better one. Realistically thinking.
When he's talking about the worst period, generation period ever period, he's talking about you guys, the millennials. Why do you think he's saying that?
Because we've been having so much technology and things that we have today that a lot of people probably don't get it without it.
Technology? It's possible. What is he saying about being informed? Part of it. And staying informed. Are you guys fairly informed of what's going on in the world around you?
More than you used to be.
Yeah.
And that whole identity thing, you know, not identifying yourself by the person that you voted for in the last election. You thought about how identity, like are you who you are, or are you your clothes? Are you your, what is that they say that Tyler Durden says, you are not your debased head. So this book right here, I'm reading it right now. It's the Global Achievement Gap. It's mentioned constantly in the powers that be in education right now. Tony Wagner is the guy who wrote it. He is a PhD from Harvard University, and he's been involved in education and education reform for the last 18 bazillion years. He's noticed that there are some things lacking, like the United States. No matter how hard we try to teach to the test, no matter how hard we try to raise standards, they say raising standards, you know, math skills, reading skills, writing skills, we're still slipping. Our performance is slipping. Our graduates, high school graduates, that's you guys are less competitive in the global market compared to other nations. So people, like right now, India is cranking out kids from their secondary systems and their, you know, college, higher education systems that are far superior in skills and abilities than United States citizens, and they're willing to work for a fraction of the money. So what does that do as far as competitiveness in the United States?
Can hire those things.
Yeah, why, when you call an IT person, are they in India or you know, wherever? Yeah, they work cheap and they're better at it. They're better at what they're doing. So he talks about, like, he looked over the high schools in the country, and he looked over, you know, he went to school. He went to some of the best schools. Like, he was like, okay, you know, we've got this whole, they call it the achievement gap. Like, you know, poor kids are going to do worse than rich kids who get to go to private schools. Well, he went to the private schools, and he was just like, okay, so we're still slipping. That kids that are coming out of the best schools are still not achieving as well as these kids that are, you know, like these little kids from India who are growing up in slums and going to these schools that we wouldn't ever in a million years send our kids to. They're doing worse than those kids. Why? Like these Ivy League prep school kids. Why? And he came up with these 7 skills that we're missing, like 7 essential skills. And the first one is critical thinking and problem solving. Like, we teach kids to memorize and regurgitate. You guys don't do as much of that here, so you guys have an opportunity to do other stuff. But you see a lot of kids in a lot of schools, it's constantly just drill and kill. And they just drill them on information until the information sinks in, they regurgitate the information on the test, and then they're done. The next one is collaboration and leading by influence. You know, here in our country, a lot of times the way things are set up, it's a pyramid, it's a hierarchy. You know, you follow your leader because somebody said that person is your leader, therefore you have to follow them. You know, in a school system, you've got your administration, and then you have your staff, your teaching staff, and then after that, the students are under that. And you guys follow the leader, right? It's like a military deal. With collaboration and leading by influence, it's not about a pyramid or a hierarchy. It's about a group of people working together, and the people with the best skills doing for specific tasks and doing those things. And you follow people because you trust them and because you believe they know what they're doing, instead of because you've been told. You guys get that? Does that make sense? Yeah, it's nodding. Okay. Agility and adaptability. This is, you know, right now we kind of live in an environment where we are trained to do a specific task, and then we're going to do that task for the rest of our lives, presumably. Well, what if our profession changes? Like, you know, Mrs. Denver can tell you, like, education is constantly changing. They're constantly, like, asking you to, like, learn new skills. But, you know, here you are in, for instance, me, in an MAT program, so teaching program, and they're teaching me a certain way to do things. Well, by the time I actually get into a classroom, or even after I've been in the classroom for, like, 5 years, it might be totally different. They might be asking me to do something completely different. So what they're training me to do now is going to be obsolete. It's kind of like your technology, right? As soon as you buy it, it's obsolete. Yeah. The next one is initiative and entrepreneurship. So that's asking you to take control of the situation. Like, have an idea and be like, okay, well, I'm going to see if this is going to work. And just being not afraid to do that. Like, an entrepreneur, what is an entrepreneur?
Kind of tries to,
A salesman person?
create their own business.
Starts a business, right? Somebody who's like, hey, I've got an idea and I think this is going to work, and they start up a business and they go after it, right? And then initiative is somebody who, or, you know, you guys know what initiative is?
The drive to do something.
Yeah. Okay. Another one is effective oral and written communication, and that's something that you guys get hit hard at school already, right? Being able to present, speak, learning how to write. It's extremely important. And accessing and analyzing information. You guys do that too with your research projects, right? You know?
Yeah.
You guys know how to weed through. You know that you look for a .org and a .edu. You guys know that you avoid the .coms when you're looking up information. You guys know whether or not it's better to look something up in a dictionary as opposed to an encyclopedia. Right? Sort of. Okay, we'll work on that. Curiosity and imagination. Okay, they've done studies where they have like tested people's ability to think outside the box, and they've looked at it in kindergartners. 98% of them test like genius level in curiosity and imagination. Guess how many in like 3rd and 4th grade test that way? 77. 50%. And then by the time they get into 8th grade, guess how much?
None.
Like 10%. And then when they're in high school? 2.
5.
Not 2. Yeah, it's like goes right down. And why is that? Like, what's the factor? And they've done this like socioeconomic status. They've done this like in good schools and bad schools. So what's the like the factor here that's leading these kids to like their imagination and their creativity is decreasing?
You kind of get a hit of reality once you get in high school.
Yeah, society tells you to grow up when you get into
Yeah,
high
you're
school.
supposed to grow up and get a
Mature.
job.
They tell you the
and-
answers in the book.
Not always. Have to realize.
Anyway, 7 skills. Everybody's got that? Okay.
I got a question. It
Go
says,
ahead.
number 3 says, what is the global achievement gap and why do you think it exists? So, like, what is it? Like, what is the global achievement gap?
It's that American students are performing less well than
Okay.
their international counterparts, even the ones that are from the best schools. They don't have the skills to succeed. They don't have those 7 skills that Tony Wagner was talking about. So today, the reason why I'm talking to you guys about this is because we're going to introduce a big project, which is going to cover your next unit in social studies for Civil War and Reconstruction. It's called Command and Conquer. And you guys are basically, I've given you my requirements, what I want you to turn in. And you guys are going to be responsible for meeting those requirements. If you have questions about an assignment, you're going to be responsible for asking those questions and basically kind of figuring it out. like on your own. 50% of your grade, 50% of your total grade for this unit is going to be based on your performance as a group. Okay. Over here, we've got the basic tasks, and by Monday, I want you guys to have signed up for 2, to be a co-leader for 2 of those tasks. We may have to actually have you sign up for 3 because we're kind of dwindling past people here. So you need to be able to figure out today why this project, Command and Conquer, is going to help you increase your collaboration and project management skills. Okay, that's our objective here. So, and the essential question is, how will participating in collaboration and project management skills help me succeed? Practicing. Okay, so if you guys open your folder, and on the left-hand side, the first paper says Command and Conquer Civil War and Reconstruction. Okay, and it gives you the purpose of the assignment, and it gives you the essential questions, and it gives you the tasks to be completed. Okay, this is what we're looking at here. I'm going to let you guys go through this on your own over the weekend. All right. You'll see under the tasks to be completed a list of group tasks, which are all in here. The rubrics are all in here. The requirements for the assignment are all in here. And then the individual tasks are after that. And basically the individual tasks are going to be class participation, so participating in all the bell ringers, being here every day, and getting all that stuff taken care of. An essay, 100-word essay, between 100 and 350 words, something like that, so really short, like that's like half a page. And then a study guide, which you guys are going to complete, and then the inputs. Okay, so by Monday, you will have gone through this whole folder. You will have looked at all these assignments in here. You will have picked out your 2 favorite or 3 favorite so that you guys can sign up to be leaders. Okay? And you will have made a note on here of questions that you have about these different assignments. So does anyone have like any initial questions based on the information that you have so far?
To be honest, it's kind of confusing what's going on.
Okay, so what's going on? Can anybody else explain to Jeff what's going on?
Just take like a,
Yeah, take a few.
Can anyone else explain to Jackie what's going on? Is everybody lost?
what we're doing, Jeff, well, my understanding from this is that we're getting this packet, it has all our assignments in it, all the information we're ever gonna need, basically for this whole next 2 weeks. Okay. And we're supposed to go through it over the weekend and find out our 2 to 3 favorite topics that we like. And so we can sign up there and put our name so we be like the leaders of that section.
Okay.
And we're supposed to mark notes if we have any, so we can ask them throughout the week and on Monday.
Okay. I have one more task for you to complete over the weekends. And this will have to do with your Monday bell ringer. And it's the only time you're going to know what's going to be on the bell ringer on Monday. The bell ringers account for a fairly significant portion of your individual grade, so you know. Okay. That is this Omelas, Ursula K. Le Guin. Have you guys ever read any of her? She writes a lot of science fiction, fantasy stuff. Huh? So Ursula K. Le Guin wrote this, and it's called The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas. And I want you to think about the phrase, you have to break a few eggs to make an omelet, in relation to this story. Okay, you guys can read it over the weekend. Okay, so, Command and Conquer. The point of this assignment, like the culmination, I see Miranda signed up to be a general in the battle. That's awesome.
I just picked random ones that sounded
Okay, so the battle is going to be a 7th through 12th grade game of something akin to like capture the flag / flag football / dodgeball. No tackles. It's going to be a battle reenactment, Civil War battle reenactment. So you guys are going to be responsible for looking up a battle, figuring out what we can do here on our terrain in school, and how you guys will be able to like reenact a Civil War battle using the entire 7th grade through the 12th grade to do that. Okay, does that make sense? You guys are going to have to come up with the rules for that. The rules they have to be safe. I'm thinking that they can include water balloons for like artillery, you know.
What about eggs? What about eggs?
Probably not, Jack. I'm safe. If I get hit by an
Eggs
egg,
don't hurt though.
I'm gonna cry if I get hit by an egg.
Hard-boiled eggs.
Remember when Casey got the egg dropped in her head?
Nerf bat dipped in water.
So that's the
Frozen
fun thing
by weeks.
that we're gonna do with this.
Okay, I'm glad I signed up for that one then.
Yes, so, like Miranda, okay, Miranda's already signed up to be a general, you wanna be Confederate or Union?
Union.
Okay, so who's gonna be the Confederate vet? Okay, Jack, sign up.
Sweet.
Gotta be Miranda's co.
Yeah?
Cool.
Go be my co-op.
Okay, the second assignment you will find in here, which is due on Tuesday, is conscription notices. Okay, everybody in the 7th through 12th grade, you have to divide them up evenly, and you guys are gonna be responsible for drafting them. Okay, they get
That sounded fun.
I'm so glad I signed up for that.
They get a draft card. The draft card's gonna have a number on it. You are gonna have a number, and you are gonna write down who you drafted, so that we know. They don't get a choice, okay?
We do though. So
You do.
we're basically like head honchos.
Yes.
We're
It's
commanders.
like,
You are general, Ulysses S. Grant.
yeah, and it's like saying, you, say for example, you get out there, I'm sorry for
Oh,
interrupting.
fine.
You get out, you do it to me all the time. You go and say you beat Jack to getting Tyler and Alan and
Bear.
Hunter and, well, no, Ryan's part of your,
He's secretly gonna be on my side.
but I'm saying, if
I
you
know,
get
I
out
don't
to
even
the
know right
other
now.
kids first, and you get them enlisted in your army first, Jack gets what's left.
Okay, so how do I enlist?
Well, that's,
That hits
I'm pretty sure it
Oh, they can defect?
I'm thinking defection is allowed, because part of this is that you're also gonna have to come up with a newspaper. Confederate newspaper and Union newspaper. You're gonna have to make a case to these kids why they should fight on your side. You know, this is supposed to be a battle reenactment, but I'm not thinking that it has to be entirely historical. I think it needs to start fairly historically
What are we
accurate.
battling for?
Land.
Exactly.
I don't know, you guys are gonna come up with the,
You guys have to come up with the,
Oh.
We should make it like
The
a
objective.
trophy.
the
Terms
rules
of
of the,
agreement.
rules of engagement. You know, you
kind of
guys
like capture the flag.
are- you know.
Let's make a constitution about it. Like you have to do this and like straight up. We all have to sign it.
Well, we aren't sure, I guess we could come,
Maybe
like, they
that-
could do like,
declaration.
you know, ironclads out here, but it's probably not very safe.
We can make boats and stuff.
Tanks.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like cardboard boxes.
Lobbing.
and stuff.
There you go.
We could be like battleship. Like we can make like a grid and then. No, wouldn't that be sweet?
That'd be
We
awesome.
can do it in the gym. We can
Okay,
do
so
tape
what
on the
has to be
gym.
done by Monday?
We're gonna do this. High five.
Monday bell ringer. What is it?
We have to read this, explain the
And then just
phrase.
put it all- that'd be fancy.
Well, we have to explain it and how it corresponds with this story.
Okay, everybody got that?
Put
Okay.
the just dead center in the middle. We can do that. We can just have fun.
Jack,
Yo. Fine.
can you read that for me, please?
Monday morning bell ringer. Explain how the phrase "you have to break if you eggs to make an omelet" relates to like wins.
Oh man.
Omnibus.
Almost.
Omnibus.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay. And number 2.
If you sign up as co-leader for 2 Fridays.
I'm changing that to 3 because there's not very many of y'all.
I put 2
How,
for you
how
there.
many projects do you have up there?
There's like 8. Is there 8?
Well, there's
I have one up
But
there.
don't we
9 these to
battle?
battle.
What we wanna do?
there's 8 of them.
Just pick one.
You have to go, you only have 6 that I would recommend.
Kaylee and I are
As
signing up for a
co-leaders.
3 month.
Kayla, can you sign me up for Confederate drill?
Okay. Flashcards are off. Don't have to do that.
Well, they can do that on their own,
Yeah, well, they have to do it for their
right,
stuff.
but not as a group thing.
Right.
I'm just saying, we've
Yeah.
got, we have 6 that I would have in leadership positions.
So yeah, sign up for 3. That should.
Where does it say general on it? It doesn't.
It just says battle.
Just, we're already signed up for the battle, right?
Yeah.
So you're Confederate.
I picked another one.
Here, put your name right there, Kaylee. Jack, you need to put your name next to Miranda and Kaylee's on the battle box.
I got you, Jack.
Does that make sense?
Sweet.
Okay.
Your shoulders.
What other questions do we have? Okay, so we got the 6 Tony Wagner 6 essential skills. 7 essential skills, sorry?
Yes, I need help, I need the 7th, the last one.
Okay,
Says, how will
Anna
command
Conquer
Conquer
help
help
you?
you?
Look on, Ujik, did you get all of them? Look on Ujik's, Jack.
I got 50.
Jake, did you get it?
I need this 7.
Yeah, I need the,
Sure.
Huh?
What's the rules? Rules of engagement.
rules of engagement. Who's gonna come up with the rules?
Kaylee and
I think we all should.
You said what was it?
Yeah, okay, so those co-leaders, you guys, co-leaders are responsible for it, but everybody should be working together on this project. So like Jack said, you all should be coming up with it, yes. Okay, co-leaders are responsible for the project. Everyone is going to be graded on the project, however. So if you notice that somebody on here is not coming up with it, like say the conscription notices, which need to be passed out by Tuesday, and you don't have those printed out, and you see on your paper like what they're supposed to look like and what the deal is, and you see that it's not getting done, what are you going to do? Because that's your grade too, right?
Yeah, we need a smackdown.
Okay. Now, so what does that have to do with collaboration and project management?
You gotta be kind about it, but it doesn't have to be forceful so everything's gonna be on time.
Okay, I'm not sure that kindness necessarily has to play a role in this, but it might help. But you guys see collaboration. What does it mean to collaborate?
Everybody be on like the same page.
Everyone talk amongst each
Okay.
other.
You guys are all working together for this. What about project management?
Keep on that.
Manage
Okay.
project.
Am I gonna bird dog you on this?
No.
I knew the guy named Bird Dog.
New? Okay, I think we're done.
Yeah.
So, Jake, you got it?
You want this?
Do you understand it?
Yeah, I understand it. You want
Okay.
On
Yes.
sounds.
So exit tickets in my hand.
I know.
I'm not.
Freaking turd.
Which question?
Do you have another question?
How will Command and Conquer help you close the global achievement gap?
Well, what was the global achievement gap talking about?
How Americans are less.
So this project, how could this help you?
Some skills on it.
Yeah, you're doing all of these kinds of
Wait,
things.
you want this, right?
Study hall's in here today. Sure. Initiative, yoo-hoo!
Oh, good one, right?
I know, and he picked it up in class. Because Miss Carlson said it.
Then where can I
And it's on there.
do my, response thing on?